Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we'll pay respect to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ji is the one who is giving us all this knowledge. So we are very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for translating this Bhagavad Gita from Sanskrit into English for the benefit of all of us. And we are able to understand that. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At the same time, I'd like to pay respects to my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, because of whose blessing we are able to understand this Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has a total 18 chapters. We have finished 7 chapters as of last week. And as I said before, that Bhagavad Gita is all about yoga. And what is yoga? Yoga means connecting with something supreme. Yuj means the connect. Yuj is an original word. And here we are trying to connect our soul with the supreme soul. There is a supreme energy from which everything is coming around, floating around. So that process is called as yoga, and there are various ways to do or to get connected. One is karma yoga, then jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga. So we finished the 6 chapters of karma yoga, where in the first chapter Arjuna is lamenting and Krishna is trying to explain to him that life is all about perception actually. In the life everything is a perception. Good and bad is a perception. Heat and cold is a perception. Happiness and distress is perception. Whatever is good for you is maybe bad for me. Whatever is bad for me may be good for you. So Krishna is saying that you just observe everything as it is. It is don't judge anything. What is good, what is bad, everything is neutral. That is called as dhira. Dhira means try to be neutral. Try to be balanced in the life. Not to start judging the things and start enjoying or getting depressed. Sometimes life will be pleasant, sometimes it will be unpleasant, but it's part and parcel of life. Today, if the days are good, expect that bad is coming. When the days are quiet, expect that some turmoil is coming. When there is no problem, think that problems is coming on the way. It's on the way. It's not that you're not going to get a problem. If there is no problem today, suppose we are healthy today, doesn't mean that we'll be healthy forever. Is that right? Is that right or wrong? Right? So just expect that it's going to, just the time is separating us. We are all in the queue. Everybody is in the queue. Uh, we don't know when the queue is coming, right? Right? But so Lord Krishna through Sankhya Yoga is explaining that just be tolerant. Titikshava. Titikshava means tolerant. Just don't get disturbed. Sometimes you have quarrel with somebody. Somebody says something to you, just tolerate it. Because something which is bad today will be good tomorrow. Because nothing is going to stay forever, right? So that is just like watching yourself, you know. Right? So a concept called as mindfulness. You just understand that, okay, Hare Krishna, please come. A concept called mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is with your intention, you watch the things. Just don't judge everything. Like he's sitting, I'm just saying he's sitting. Why should I start saying he's not sitting? He's there. Like he's a little boy. Why we should start thinking him as a person rather than judging him.
And this week I did the japa for 3 days.
Very good. Big round of applause to your holiday. Very good. And how many of you did japa this week? Did you do Vishnu?
I did, but not the entire week.
How many days?
3 days.
3 days. That's a good beginning. And how about you, Olga?
I did 4 days.
4 days. Wonderful. So one round every day?
Yeah.
Big round of applause to Vishnu and Olga. And how about you guys? No? No. Okay, when you are at 0, you have a big hope because the progress is only way is up. When you're up, only way is down. So you have a higher hope now than anybody else.
I couldn't do it on Wednesday and Friday because Wednesday I was almost missed my bus because my bus was late.
Very good.
And I had to run to catch it.
Oh, no. I'm really happy, I'm really happy that you did japa and you remembered and told everybody. So very nice, very nice. Thank you all. Thank you. So we were just learning about this. So Lord Krishna is teaching us how to live our life very humbly. So when Arjuna was depressed, he said, just be balanced. Don't get depressed in the life. And then he says, if you have intelligence, right? So what intelligence? What you do with intelligence? You do karma, which is called karma yoga. So now the life is temporary, right? The body is temporary. It's not permanent arrangement. We all act as if we are here forever. But we are not here forever. How long? Maybe a few more years and that's it. So what do you do with these few years in your hand? So you do karma. So it's called karma yoga. So do act as the sacrifice. Sacrifice. The people who sacrifice are remembered in the life. People who are bhogi, who are self-enjoyers, they are forgotten. For example, Mother Teresa. You know Mother Teresa? You know her? You know. Everybody knows Mother Teresa, right? Why? Sacrifice. Mahatma Gandhi. Everybody knows Gandhi. Why? Sacrifice. Nelson Mandela. We all know. Why? Sacrifice. The people who do the sacrifice are remembered. People who want to enjoy that. There are so many kings and queens came and died. Who worries about them? Nobody. Why? They had the tendency of enjoyment. So life is for the sacrifice. If you really want to inspire yourself, inspire others, then sacrifice. So what can you sacrifice? You have energy. So what is the energy? Energy is your karma. So Lord Krishna is saying that you work as a sacrifice. When you are sacrificed, when you give up, you are free, right? Everybody wants to be freedom, right? You want freedom? You want freedom? How about you? Everybody you want freedom? Nowadays people like freedom. So what is freedom? Freedom is getting released from the bondage, right? And how do you get free? Just don't worry about it. Do your work, leave it to Krishna. So that is what it is, freedom. I don't have to worry because I have done my best, and whatever I get, I don't worry about it. Why? Because I want to be free. I want to think next. I just don't want to get caught in the same thing again and again. Right? So that is what Krishna is saying, that you work for the pleasure of Krishna. If you work for yourself, then you are bound. Right? But if you work for Krishna, you're free bird. Then you go on, because Krishna leave it to something for him to worry about, right? Why should I worry about everything? If I did my work 100%, that's it. I don't have to worry about results and then reaction to the results and like that. I want to go to the next step. I don't want to keep on doing the same thing again. So then third chapter, Lord Krishna says that sacrifice is the main concept in the life. Human life is meant to help others, do something better. We are not here just like animals, eating, sleeping, mating and defending. We are something better than animals, right? And what is that better thing? The consciousness. We have a higher consciousness. So like that. So Lord Krishna is explaining us to perform sacrifice. And then Lord Krishna is saying that the knowledge which I am imparting you, history of Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 4, it is coming from millions of years. Sun God Vivashwan, Vivashwan Vishwaku, Vishwa to Manu, Manu to all the other kings, and then it came down. But somehow or other, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita got lost. Why it got lost? Because people stop practicing. Right? Anything which you don't practice get lost.
And then their lives got shorter.
Yes, absolutely. So Lord Krishna is saying that as the time went by, people did not practice. This knowledge was given to the leaders of the society. So all the kings were the leaders, and leaders were trained in the science of sacrifice. So the leaders used to live the life for sacrifice. But then the leaders got entangled in sense enjoyment. So they were always thinking about themselves, how they want to be happy, rather than thinking about the citizens' happiness. So then Lord Krishna says that evam parampara prapti vimarajashayo vidu sakalene mata yoga nashta parantapa. This science of sacrifice get lost. So now I'm telling you again this, so please listen. So Arjuna asked a question to Krishna. Oh, you just appeared and sun god is billions of years older than you. Then how do you know this? So what does Krishna say?
He remembers all his past.
Ah, right, very good.
He remembers everyone's past life.
Ah, very nice, very nice. Why Krishna remembers everybody's pastime? Because Krishna is a super soul. He is a supreme. There is a Paramatma, there is a God within all of us, right? That is expansion of Krishna. So Krishna says, I am here forever. I appear in various forms. Like sometimes Krishna comes as a Narsimha, Vamana, Parshuram, Ram. There are various incarnations like Jesus Christ, Muhammad Paigambar, Buddha, Keshavadrita, Buddha Sharira, Jaya Jagadisha. Buddha is also incarnation of Krishna actually. In Bhagavatam, Buddha's life is mentioned. Even 5,000 years ago, the book Srimad Bhagavatam here, it has the predictions about each and every incarnation on the earth. Okay, so it has the incarnation about Lord Buddha was mentioned 5,000 years ago in this book. Even before the Buddha appeared, like it is mentioned where did Buddha will appear, who will be his father, who will be his mother, what will Buddha do. Everything is mentioned in Bhagavatam even before Lord Buddha appeared. So this is called as Bhavishya Puran, which is the Puran deals with the future predictions. Like current age in the Kali Yuga, whatever is happening is already predicted here. In the 12th canto of this book of Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever currently happening is already written thousands of years back. How is that possible? Because this was written by the greatly enlightened sages who got knowledge from Lord Krishna. Right? So like current age, what will be the lifespan of the people in the Kali Yuga? Like in the olden ages, like in Satya Yuga, Treta, Dwapar, the lifespan was longer. Now the lifespan is reducing. And it is said in Bhagavatam that after few years, maybe after 100, 200, 500 years, 30-year-old man will be called as grand old man. How many years? 30 years old. The life is going to get reduced to that extent. It is mentioned in Bhagavatam that relationship between husband and wife will be very short-tempered, very short-lived. In the previous ages there was no word as divorce. Actually, in the very Sanskrit, there is no translation or there is no synonym for divorce because it never existed. But nowadays, everybody gets divorced. So that is already mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So many things are mentioned in Bhagavatam, so I don't want to go into detail. But so Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that I know all these things, but you just don't remember. And then Lord Krishna explains about karma, vikarma and akarma, right? And then 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks more about Nishkam Karma Yoga, where he says that you perform your duty without attachment, surrendering the results to Krishna. Right? Then in the 6th chapter we learned about Dhyana Yoga, and then who is the best yogi among all? One who is yogi nama api sarveshu matagatintra atmana shraddhavan bhajanti mam bhajanti yamam samayukta mamata. So among all, the best one is one who is surrendered to Krishna, bhakti. Now who is bhakta? Bhakta is the one who sincerely follows instruction of Bhagavad Gita, instruction of Krishna, is called as Bhakta. Bhakta is not like an external thing, Bhakta is one who completely believes and has complete faith in instructions of Bhagavad Gita and who lives his life according to instruction of Bhagavad Gita is called Bhakta. So Lord Krishna is saying that among all, the best one is the one who follows my devotion, me, who is doing my bhakti. Now, why should one follow instructions of Krishna and why not anybody else? So Lord Krishna says, okay, I have told you a little bit about myself, but I'm going to explain more about myself. You see, if you want to know about God, then whom do you know from? You know from God himself. Right? So, see, Jesus Christ says that I'm son of God. He never said I'm God. Did he ever say? No. Muhammad Paigambar, he always said I'm messenger of God. He never said I'm God. Jesus Christ even say that my father's house has many rooms. I'm not going to disclose all those rooms to you. Is that right? Well, if you read the Bible, it is mentioned there in the Bible. So there are many more things. And then in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna declares himself that yes, this is my identity. And what is Krishna's identity? So this is the Jnana Yoga. So 7th chapter to 12th chapter we'll learn more about Krishna and his identity. So this is called Gnana Yoga, Vijnana Yoga, or the yoga of knowledge or absolute truth. Now the knowledge which we are learning here is Lord Krishna is disclosing himself, but this knowledge is also given by the great sages. Even before Lord Krishna disclosed about himself, Narada, Asita, Vyasa, Devala, all these great sages have already confirmed, and Lord Krishna is reconfirming it. And what is that knowledge? This is called Gnana and Vijnana Yoga. So, knowledge about Krishna himself. So, Lord Krishna, he's saying that we learned about that Krishna, he is a person, but you can reach the person directly or indirectly. How do you reach a person indirectly? Say you want to reach a Prime Minister of Canada indirectly. How do you reach? So you contact Patty Hyder. Is it right? Because she is the expansion of Prime Minister in that particular field.
What?
You know her, Patty? Yeah? She is the indigenous minister, right? So what is the little authority of Prime Minister is given to Patty? Is that correct? She's not the Prime Minister, but she's a little energy of Prime Minister. So she has little power of Prime Minister. Similarly, some other minister has little power of Prime Minister. Everybody has little power, but the ultimate power is with the Prime Minister. So similarly, Krishna has various powers, and then he has distributed his powers. So there are two energies of Krishna, superior and inferior energy. So you all are also powers of Krishna. We all are power of Krishna in the form of spiritual energy. We are little sparks, but we are spark of Krishna. So we have little authority of Krishna, little qualities of Krishna, little quantity of Krishna. And then this energy around us, like this, all bricks are also energies of Krishna. This metal, this wood is also energy of Krishna. Everything around us is part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna is saying that I am there in the form of my energies, which are two types, superior and inferior energies, right? And then is the list of energies which we talked about: Bhumi, Apo, Anala, Vayu, Manu, Kama, Buddhi, Kama, Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar.
Where is ego?
Yes, ego, Ahankar here. Very good, very sharp boy. So all these are energies of Krishna. So what does that mean? When I see you, when I see you, when I see you, when I see you, I see you. What do I see? I see Krishna there. Why? Because you are energy of, you all are energy of Krishna. When I see this wood also, like in India or in Vedic culture, not in India, Vedic culture, we touch the floor, and before even putting leg on the feet, like on the ground, we touch the earth. Why? Because earth is energy of Krishna. It says earth, right? Earth is energy of Krishna, and we are putting a leg on the Krishna, our feet on Krishna. It's not good. So we say, Krishna, please allow us. Like we are digging the earth. When we dig the earth, we call Bhumi Pujana. Bhumi Pujana means when you are about to build a house, you worship the land. Why? Because now we are going to dig the earth, and digging somebody is really bad. You're going to dig. It's a torture to the Mother Earth. So we're going to say, okay, Mother Earth, we are doing this to build a house. You please allow us. That's called Bhumi Pujana. Like that. So Bhumi Apahanala Vayu Kama Mana Buddhi Ahankar. So all these are different energies. These are separated energies of Lord. And then we are all as a spirit soul also energy, right? So we are living entities. So now we have Atma and we have Paramatma also. Yeah? So we have Atma, which is separated part of Krishna, and Krishna himself. Both are there within us. And Lord Krishna is saying that Mai Sarvam Idam Proktam Sutre Manigiva. Everything is resting upon. How is that? So you see all these separated energies, Bhumi, Apa, Anala, Vayu. All these are how they are connected. There is some thread, right? Like you have this beads, right? And all the beads are connected through a thread. Is that right? Similarly, all these different energies, Jiva, earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, it needs some connection, right? Otherwise, how they work so synchronicity? So who is connecting them? It's Krishna who is connecting. So Lord Krishna is saying, everything is resting upon me as the pearls are strung on the thread. And Krishna is the ultimate controller actually. Like as we say that satellites are being controlled by the control room. Similarly, so many planets around us, they are being controlled by Krishna. Who is the controller? Krishna. So he is confirming that. He says, everything is resting upon me. All these planets, everything is coming from and resting upon me as the pulse are strong. Right? So then we talked about when there is art, there is an artist. When there is a law, there is a lawmaker. There is a law of karma, right? So then what is the law of karma? Law of karma is the Newton's third law, right? What is the Newton's third law? Every action has equal and opposite reaction, right? So when we see Krishna, which means he is the one who is the lawmaker. So then Krishna says how we can see Krishna. So rasoham apsu kauteya prabhasmi sasishurya pranava sarvavedishu shabda ke paurusham prashu. All these are separated energies, Taste of water, Krishna. Now who can make a taste of the water? Nobody can make it. It is given by Krishna. Then sunlight coming from Krishna. Moonlight coming from Krishna. So in this way, everything is coming from Krishna. Now who is saying this? Not me. Krishna himself is saying. Now why would Krishna say about this to Arjuna? Because we all need to understand who is in charge of everything. Right? They always say that everywhere you go there is a names of the authorities written, like hospital, big organizations. They have like vice president, president. Everybody's names are mentioned there. Is that correct? Why the names are mentioned? You should know who is the authority, who is respected. Similarly, Krishna is saying that all these are different energies, but I am the one who is controlling everything. And Krishna himself declaring, and all other great sages and all Shastras supporting it. It is not that only Krishna himself saying, but is being proven by the Shastras also. So Krishna is all pervasive, and this has been proven and explained by many scriptures. Actually, in Brahma Samhita is one scripture which is spoken by Brahmaji. Brahmaji says, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. He himself is saying that Govinda, Krishna is the Adi Purusha. Adi means original. So everything is coming from Krishna, and Krishna himself says that Bijamam Sarvabhutanam Vidhi Partha Sanatanam Buddhir Buddhi Matamasmi Tejas Tejasvinamaham. So you see, Krishna is saying about himself, but Arjuna is doubtful. Krishna, you are saying all this, but how do I believe that you are all this? Is there any way I can see, I can believe it? Like it's not that just somebody says and you believe it, right? So Arjuna asked this question, Krishna, you're saying all this, but how do I know that you are all this? Can you show me? So then Lord Krishna in the 11th chapter will learn that Arjuna sees the Vishwarupa. Lord Krishna shows him the Vishwarupa, universal form of Lord. He gives him a Divya Chakshu, the divine vision. And Arjuna actually sees this. But here Krishna is describing about himself. He says, Bija Mam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna is the seed of all the existence. You understand seed? What is seed? What is a seed?
The big, the basics,
Ah.
everything.
Okay, so you plant a seed, then what happens? Yeah, whatever it is, right? But where does the seed come from? Yes, I know. But without seed, they cannot be planted. Is that right? Yeah. So then where does the seed come from? So Krishna says, that seed is I. Because that it is unexplainable actually. You cannot understand this. There are no scientific research can give you this. Yes. Okay, for example, you see our heart. Okay, everybody has a heart, right? Everybody has a heart. Huh? Heart works. Can you control your heartbeat? No. No, you can't control. Well, to some extent, but not always. You can't control your heartbeat. Can you control your breathing? Yes, for a few minutes. Can you control 24 by 7, 365 days a year? It's not possible. So who is controlling this breathing?
Krishna.
Who is controlling your heart rate?
Krishna.
Who is controlling the movement of your bowel? Like say your bowels are always moving, right? There's a peristalsis movement.
Krishna.
Like a whole galaxy inside.
So who is controlling it? So when you say you cannot control it, so who is controlling it?
Krishna.
Somebody is controlling, and that is Krishna's energy actually. Krishna doesn't matter with this. He controls all these things through his energy. And that energy is Paramatma. That Krishna himself is Paramatma. And then through him, everything is running in our body. Atma. Atma is the energy. Separate energy, Atma, right? Is the higher energy. So as long as there is Atma, there is a heartbeat. As long as there is Atma, there is a breathing. As soon as Atma leaves the body, what happens? The body is dead. You understand this? So many things in our life are being controlled by the invisible energy. And Lord Krishna is saying that invisible energy is coming from me. I am the seed of all the energies, what you are saying, right? Then he says, Buddhir Buddhi Mata Asmi. He is the intelligent of intelligence or intelligent. And Tejas Tejas Vinamaham, the promise of all the powerful man. So Krishna is the source of so many things, right? And then all the gunas are coming from Krishna. Sattva guna, Raja guna, Tama guna is coming from Krishna himself. But Lord Krishna is saying that all these gunas are very powerful. They are always binding you. He says, Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Durataya Mama Evaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So he's saying that these gunas, they are always controlling you. Guna means, what is guna means?
Quality.
Guna means quality, yes, that is correct. What is the another meaning of guna? Guna literally means rope, actually. Here is the rope you can see. The guna means the rope which binds you. But guna also means quality, that is correct. So, Sanskrit definition of a rope is the thing, guna means which binds you. Now, these three gunas, sattva, raja, and tama guna, we are always bound by this. Sometimes you are in sattva, sometimes you are in rajo, sometimes in tamo, sometimes combination, permutation combination. But he says that mama maya durataya. Durataya means very difficult to overcome actually. You cannot be at any given time away from any of the modes. Right? Always you are in one thing or other. Is it possible to be without any of the modes? Yes or no? Okay, so the question here is that there is sattva guna, mode of goodness, there is rajo guna, mode of passion, and there is tamo guna, mode of ignorance. Sometimes we are in sattva, sometimes in rajo, sometimes in tamo, sometimes combination of both.
Or sometimes none of them.
How? How is that you can be none of them?
Working for Krishna.
Ah, very nice. This guy is the smartest guy on the planet, looks like.
Working in devotion for Krishna.
Ah, very nice. That is the answer. Yes, when you work for Krishna, then there is no guna.
Because all our emotions are balanced.
All are?
Balanced emotions.
Actually, when you are working under Krishna, which Krishna is the one who is controlling the gunas, he is the master of the gunas, then the laws will act when you are, like say, a soldier when he is working for the country and if he kills someone in the fight, then he is rewarded. Is that right? But the same soldier, he kills somebody without the authority of the country, then he is punished. Is that right? Similarly, when you are working under Krishna, then the Krishna will take care of all the gunas. You don't have to worry about it. But when you work independently, then you are under the gunas. You understand this point? You get it? Yeah. For example, Prime Minister of a particular country, he visits a jail for some government function. Okay? A Prime Minister, like say Mahatma Gandhi, for example, we'll take a Gandhi's example. Gandhiji was in the jail and all the criminals were also in the jail. So what is the difference? Gandhi being jail and the criminal in jail? Gandhi was there as a freedom fighter. For him, jail was an honor actually. He was not bound by the jail laws. He was beyond that, because when Gandhi went in the jail, like thousands and thousands of people came and praised Gandhi. Well, if you and me go to jail for some criminal, people will not even think about it. Right? So similarly, when you work for Krishna, then Krishna takes care of everything. You work for the higher cause. Gandhi worked for higher cause. What was that? For a country. When you work for Krishna, Krishna takes care of everything. Right? So that is Durataya. So Lord Krishna is saying, Mama Maya Durataya, Mama Evaya Prapadyate Maya Meta Tarandite. That is correct actually. So when you surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will take care of all the gunas. Huh? So what does it say? Can somebody read loudly for me? Natasha, can you read?
This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
Yeah, so if we surrender to Krishna, then we can cross over all the three gunas, Sattva, Raja and Tamoguna. This is very interesting actually, because as soon as we surrender to Krishna, then all our understanding about our life becomes very clear. That I am not this body is here for service, you know. And as soon as we go into that mood of service, then our sinful activities go really down, because we are in the mood of seva, sacrifice, right? So this is what is I'm saying, that meaning of the Krishna consciousness means that you follow the instructions of Lord Krishna and you live your life according to that. Right? So in this way, Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam. So four types of people come to Krishna. Huh? What are those? Distressed, desire of wealth, inquisitive, and he who is searching for the knowledge of absolute truth, which are here. Artha, Artharthi, Gnani, and Jignashu. So people go to Krishna for various reasons. People read Bhagavad Gita for various reasons actually. Why do you read Bhagavad Gita?
For daily life.
For daily living. Okay. Why do you read Bhagavad Gita?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Why do you read Bhagavad Gita?
I think also I'm inquisitive.
Inquisitive.
But also I want to have a deeper connection.
Deeper connection. Very nice. Why do you read Bhagavad Gita?
Getting more knowledge and adapt the lessons from
Bhagavad Gita. Very nice. Why do you read Bhagavad Gita?
Decision making.
Decision making. You see, so let's see. Daily living, knowledge, deeper connection, adapting lessons from Bhagavad Gita, and decision making. You see, now here is the thing. Everybody has a different intention, right? For some people, Bhagavad Gita is connecting with Krishna. I read Bhagavad Gita because I see Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Because when I am reading Bhagavad Gita, I feel I am always with Krishna. This is how, like when I read my father's letters, my father is not here anymore, but when I read anything about him, I feel I'm with my father actually. Right? So you read my father's letter to know about him. You read about him, you read his literature just because you want to be some inquisitiveness. So you want to have a moral lessons from that. But I read just because I'm connected with my father. For me, that is the deepest connection. Is that right? Similarly, the people who approach Krishna, as Krishna teaches, Lord Krishna's teaching, Bhagavad Gita, various intentions. But which is the highest intention? To connect about Krishna, right? Because when you're connected with Krishna, actually all things are served automatically. Is that right? When you're connected with Krishna, you are connected, you are getting knowledge, you are knowing about the daily living, and you are sorting out all your problems because Krishna is there with you always. So, everybody, four kinds of people, as it is said: Artha, Artharthi, Gnani, Jignashu. Some people who are distressed, inquisitive, one who desires some material gains out of it, or people who are devotees. You know? So people come to temple for various reasons actually. When you stand in front of deities, people ask, give me money, give me this, give me that. People go to church also for various reasons. But who is the best? The one who wants to get love. Love of God is love. God, love is the best thing actually. In this world, nothing compares with the love. And that is connection, deeper connection, right? So Tesham Gnani Nityayukta Eka Bhakti Vishishyate Priyo Hi Gnanino Atyartham Aham Sa Mama Priya. So Lord Krishna is saying, and of all the fours, the devotee with full knowledge, always engaged in devotional services, of all the best. So in this way, Lord Krishna is saying that the devotee is the best of the best, best of the best. And then Krishna says in 7th chapter, 28th sloka, Lord Krishna says that person who has acted piously in the previous life, yesham tvantagatam papam, and whose sinful reactions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of reaction and they engage themselves in my service. Because it is very difficult. Lord Krishna is saying that Bahunam Janmanamante Gnanvamam Prapadyante. To know Krishna as the Supreme Lord is not easy actually. And you have to have many, many lifespans. Some people not in this lifespan, next life, next life. Bahunam Janmanamante. After many, 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 many lifespans, they will understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is very difficult. Such a soul is very rare. Vishnu, do you want to read loudly this thing?
After many births and death, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
So, here Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that knowing Krishna as a supreme person is very rare because people are always thinking about themselves and they know, okay, Krishna has two hands, so I have also two hands, so he's just like me. But it is not like that. Even though he may look like us, he is much higher than us. Like, for example, he and his father both have two hands, two legs, but can he be like his father? Can he be his father? No. Father is always going to be father, son is always going to be son. Similarly, even though Krishna may look like us, he is always going to be supreme. But that knowledge takes many, many time, lifespans to appear. So it takes really, really long time. And then Lord Krishna says that in this mood of Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Ashrita Yatantiye. Intelligent person who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. And in this devotion, what happens to them is that they leave their life for service of Krishna. And when they give up, Lord Krishna is saying that those in full consciousness of me know me, the Supreme Lord, to be governing principle of material manifestation of the demigods and of all the methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So, to understand Krishna as the Supreme and to follow his instruction throughout the life, and then when you remember Krishna at the time of death, then what happens? So, Lord Krishna says in 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what happens to us when we remember Krishna at the time of death. He says, Antakale chama maiva smaranmuktva kalevaram yah prahati sabd bhavan yati nasti atra sanshaya. And whoever at the end of the life quits his body remembering me at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So, this is very interesting concept here. The last moment of your life, when we are giving up the body, what happens?
Take one last breath.
Yes, what happens at the last moment of the last moment of the life when we are giving up the body?
We remember.
the birth and the cycle of the.
What have you ever get that experience? Because we have never been dead. Actually, we have been dead many times, but we forgot everything about it. But I will tell you, as a doctor, I've seen quite a few people dying. You might have seen people, family members, also give up on the body, right? One thing about the last moment of the life, it's for humans as well as for the animals, for both. You might have seen animals dying, is that right? It's a painful phenomenon. The death is painful. No matter how one dies. For example, somebody has a heart attack, or somebody has a stroke, or somebody has a cancer, or somebody has an accident. No matter what, death is a painful phenomenon. When one dies, the pain in the body is equal to how much pain you know? No? Hare Krishna, beta. Do you know what happens? You can read that one later on. We are talking, so you join us conversation, okay? So at the last moment of the death, when we are giving up this body, the pain is equal to 10,000 scorpions biting you at the same time. That's the pain. And that is why many people, when they are dying, they pass the urine or the stool, fecal matter. You see that, and that is quite common actually. I've seen quite a few people. Uh, they have some people open their eyes wide open when they're dead. Some people clench their fist, they're dead. People are scared actually at the time of death because it's really painful phenomenon. It's not easy. Like currently, you see 20,000 people died in the earthquake. Did you hear about that? In Turkey? And then some of the dead bodies pictures, if you see, you will feel all those things. I see quite a few people dead at the hospital. So it's a painful phenomenon. And when you're dying, it's very difficult. Imagine, what can you remember when you're dying? When there's so much pain. What will you remember? Nothing. Or most of the time when they remember their family members. Or they remember their money or some material attachments, house or something like that. People do not have any other things to think. Like I have seen one of our close family friends. He was almost dying, like he was about to die within the next few hours probably, and he was in coma. Coma means unconscious. But he was talking something when he was unconscious. It was like a random thing related to the material world. So this is what happens when we are dying. We are dying is our subconscious mind, whatever is there, it comes out. So Lord Krishna is saying that Antakale cha mamaiva. Can you repeat after me? Antakale cha mamaiva Smaran muktva kalevaram Yaha prayati sahamad bhavam Yati nasti atra samshaya. And you can repeat after me. And whoever at the end of his life, it should be his or her, and whoever at the end of his or her life quits this body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. So Lord Krishna is saying that if at the time of death, if you remember Krishna, then what happens? What does attaining Krishna's nature mean? Krishna's nature means that we do not get this material body. We get the spiritual body. Most of the time, we have this material body, and then in the next life also we'll get material body, and then again material body. What is the nature of material body? It has expiry date. You understand? But there is another type of body called spiritual body, which has no expiry date. You never die, actually. But body dies, and the suffering are there because why there are suffering? That is there. But we identify ourselves with the body. That is the reason. You see, like you have a problem, you have some, say, body ache or something, but I'm disconnected from you. I have nothing to deal with you because it's your body, right? But when, say, I'm connected with you, then your suffering becomes my suffering because we are connected now. Similarly, we all have the material sufferings because we as Atma, we are thinking that I am this body. And this is identity crisis we have. And that is why we are all suffering. But when we have a spiritual body, then actually there is no difference between the body and the soul. Now currently body and soul are different. You understand? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Please take darshan. So currently we are suffering because, why are we suffering? What did you discuss just now? Why are we suffering? Because we think we are the body. Because I think that I am Sharira. Actually, body is different than the shadow, the soul. But we try to identify with that, then you suffer. You understand this? Don't know. Still not making sense? Okay, so you and your body are different. You understand this? Yeah? I am different than my body. Like my body is going to die, and then I will get another body. Then I will get another body. So I am different than the body. Right? So my leg is paining. I say my leg is paining. I don't say I am paining or my leg. What does that mean? That my leg is different than me. But we subconsciously are connected with this body. So that's why we suffer. But when we go to the spiritual world, when we give up this body remembering Krishna, what does remembering Krishna means? Remembering Krishna means that remembering the teachings of Krishna and be completely detached from the material attachments. Say my husband, my wife, my children, my this, my that, my that. But as soon as body is finished, husband is finished. Relationship finished, right? Because now you have to get another husband now next life. Is that right? Is it correct or wrong? Yes or wrong? The same thing, right? I have my son, but as soon as my body is finished, I have to get another son then. Is that right? I am a doctor in this life. As soon as my body is finished, what happens? I have to go to kindergarten again in the next life if I become a human. So, so remembering Krishna at the time of death means that remembering all the teachings of Krishna, not to be thinking about anything material, and just thinking about Krishna himself, that how divine is Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we have that thought at the life, then we are peaceful actually. What is peaceful death? Peaceful death is not to worry about anything at the time of death. Actually. But how can you not worry about the things at the time of death?
Don't get attached to anything.
Because you remember in the exam what you have practiced throughout the year, right? Is that right or wrong? So death is an examination and life is a preparation. So when you whole life you are attached with this body, how can you forget about this body at the time of death? It's impossible. So that is why it is said that to live in Krishna consciousness means that 24 by 7, 365 days a year, always thinking about serving Krishna. Service, service, service. How can I give? How can I give? How can I give? Rather than how can I take, 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 take. So Lord Krishna is saying that yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kauteya sadatat bhava bhavita. Whatever the state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. So somebody say remembering at the time of death food. People like the food. Some people literally wants to eat something at the time of death. They remember the food. Some people remember money at the time of death. Some people remember their father or mother at the time of death. Some people they remember their family members. Have you heard some people say that, oh, my grandson looks like my grandfather, or he's just like my grandfather. Have you heard that before? Why is that so? Maybe that grandfather has come back. That happens actually. Because the grandfather's life was always entangled in that family. So then he has to come back. But when you remember Krishna at the time of death, then you don't come back because you are detached from the material attachments, right?
Is there a number of days after you die? I know the Buddhists believe that it's 49 days after you die until you're reborn. Is that the same way?
Yes, very good question. So, according to Vedic culture, the soul remains around the family for up to 13 days. Okay, and then on 13th day there is a ceremony called as it's called Pitru ceremony, where you tell the soul that all our bondages are finished. We'll let you go. Please proceed. And actually there is a big celebration on 13th day. They had prepared delicious feast. We invite all the family members and friends. They give up their uh, agony, pain, whatever is there, and they say, okay, no, it's a time to move on now. So for 13 days they observe the shoka. Shoka means the grief, and on 13th day they say it's time to move on now. We can't just hold on, because so long as the family members hold on the grief, the soul remains around. Soul doesn't go further, because soul is attached to the body and soul is attached to the family. So then family members has to tell the soul that please don't worry about us, you just move on. And then soul moves on. Otherwise there is so many complications, right? So soul doesn't get a body and soul has to move around as a ghost, and there are so many other things. So soul has to have gati. And that is what is Lord Krishna is saying, that whatever state you remember at the time of death, you will achieve without fail. So, in this way, there is one interesting story of a king of India. His name is Bharat. India is called Bharat Varsha. Bharat comes from the name of a king which is called Bharat. And this is the King Bharat. King Bharat was very pious and very. Hare Krishna, please have a seat. Have a seat. What is your name?
Archana.
Archana ji, please wait here. Very good. Nice to see you. We are reading Bhagavad Gita chapter 8. You're most welcome to join us.
Sure.
Very nice. So, India is called Bharat. India was named as India by British, but it was always known as, what is it called? Bharat. What is it called? Can you say that? Bharat. Bharat. Bharat is the original name of India. Okay, and name was given after this king. His name is Bharat. So this king, very pious and very humble, and he was devotee of Lord Vishnu. So, in India, in Bharatvarsha at that time, the tradition was that after certain age, like say 65, people retire and they go to a life which is called sannyas ashram. Sannyas, you understand sannyas? Sannyas means renounced order of life. So our life has various stages. First is like his age. Up to age 25 is called brahmachari ashram. What is that brahmachari means? Celibacy. Then you get married. That is called grihastha ashram. So 25 to 50 is the grihastha ashram. Then 50 to 75 is the vanaprastha ashram. When husband and wife, now the family responsibilities are finished, kids are grown up. So after age 50, then husband and wife will go on the pilgrimage.
Go into which?
Pilgrimage, travel to the holy places, And then after 75, husband will leave wife with one of the children, in the care of one of the children, and husband will go to the forest and dedicate all last few years of life for the spiritual practices, meditation, yoga, pranayama, bhakti. So Maharaj Bharat, King Bharat, he retired. He went into forest for performing austerities, And then he gave up his wife, he gave up his family, he gave up his money, all the things he gave up. But when he went into the forest, there was a little deer there. Can you see that deer next to him? Anybody knows the story of this king? No? Very interesting story. So then, what happened is that when he was doing a one-time puja ceremony, yagna ceremony, fire sacrifice, at that time he saw a lion jumping on a deer, and this deer was pregnant. So the deer, to save herself and her baby, the deer jumped over the river. And when the deer jumped over the river, as she was pregnant, she delivered the baby by accident. And the lion was chasing, but so mother had to run away. and this baby was floating in the water. So King Bharat, he saw this and he went and saved baby. Now as the baby had no mother, the king was meditating upon that how can I help this baby. So he started feeding the baby, bringing the grass and all, looking after the baby as if his own baby. And then slowly and slowly he got so much attached to the deer that deer became like a pet deer to him. Now this attachment became so much that he could not live without the deer. So wherever he went, the deer followed him. In the sleep time, the deer sleeping with him. In the food time, eating with him. So now his whole life became a deer life because he was so much attached to the deer. One day, what happened is that deer somehow or other got lost in the jungle and didn't return back until late night. And Maharaj Bharat was very anxious about whom? Deer. He was attached to it. The person who gave up his own family, every attachment he gave up, but he took up another attachment. What was that? He gave up one and take up another, right? So he went around looking for the deer in the night time and he couldn't find the deer. And there was in the night time, this was very dark in the forest, and there was a deep valley. So while he was looking for the deer, he fell into the valley. And when he was dying, he saw the deer. Actually, that was not a deer, but his mind was meditating upon the deer, so he remembered deer when he was dying. So what happened to him then? So when he was dying, he remembered the deer. So next life he got off a deer. So because he was thinking about the deer, Lord Krishna says that whatever the state you remember at the time of death, that state he will attain without. So this King Bharat in his next life got a birth as a deer. But you see, when you die, your mind comes with you. Even though the body dies, the mind comes with you. And mind has memories. So this deer remembered his previous life. We all have a previous life and we all remember our previous life. Only thing is that we are not able to remember it consciously. It is there in your mind and you can do various processes and remember the previous life. By hypnotism also you can remember your previous life. So the King Bharat as a deer also remembered his previous life. Oh my God, last life I made a mistake. I gave up my whole family life, but somehow or other I got into this deer business and now I'm landing up as a deer. So then in that life, the deer decided that I'm not going to go into anything. So that life, the deer always roaming around all the sages who were doing tapasya in the jungle. And this deer was a smart deer. There are some animals also have intelligence. Like so, this deer was very smart. He never got entangled with any of the other animals. He always around the people who were chanting the Krishna name, and he got the next opportunity. So in this way, we can see that the death is a very critical moment, and this life is a preparation for that. So whatever that we remember at the time of death, we will get it for sure. So Lord Krishna is saying that Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mamanusmara Yuddhancha Mayarpita Manobutir Mamayavashyasya Samshaya. Tasmat means therefore. When we want to conclude something, we say therefore. Right? I have given all the arguments and I say therefore. So Krishna is saying Tasmat. Therefore, what do? Can you read loudly, Isaac, for me?
Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting.
Why he is saying like that? Therefore, you should think about me, Krishna, always and carry out your duty. Why is saying that? Because death can come at any moment, actually. Right? We can all die at any moment. Is that right or wrong? So, therefore, we should always remember Krishna. Very nice. Because when we remember Krishna, what will happen?
In our next verse.
What will happen?
In our next verse, we can be Krishna probably.
We cannot become Krishna, but we will go to Krishna Loka. I cannot become my father. Can I ever become my father? I cannot become my father. Yeah, I can go to my father and take his blessings, but my father will always be my father. So we'll never become Krishna, but we get opportunity to go to Krishna Loka, right? So he's saying, with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence, you will attain me without doubt, which means you will attain Krishna Loka. So here is the conclusion. Lord Krishna is saying that shloka is that we always satatam kirtayantamam, always think about Krishna while we are doing work. So while I am studying also, what do I do? Advik, what do I do when I study? I remember Krishna. Hare Krishna, please come, please come. Take darshan, take darshan. Then you can join us if you like. So Lord Krishna is telling that always doing our duty we should remember Krishna. Why should we remember Krishna? Because at any moment or anything happens, Krishna is always there with us, right? So Lord Krishna is saying, Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati parthanuchintayam. He who meditates on me as the supreme personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from my path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So if we constantly remember Krishna, then at the end of the life, we get Krishna Loka, for sure. This is guaranteed, not by me, by Krishna himself. Krishna is saying himself in Bhagavad Gita, it is guaranteed. I give you guarantee that it will happen. So, Srila Prabhupada when he came, so many people from the Western world. Hare Krishna, you need any help? Yeah? Okay, please have a seat. We are talking about Bhagavad Gita if you like. If not, then take prasadam. Enjoy. Happy shift. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So, when Srila Prabhupada came in America, then so many Westerners joined Srila Prabhupada. Actually, here in the picture, you can see that all these people, so many people, like not in few hundred, thousands and thousands of Americans, Canadians, British, Europeans, Russians, and still, it is not that Srila Prabhupada still people are attracted by instructions of Krishna because people are getting tangentially benefited by it. It is that when we constantly remember Krishna, then we reach Krishna, which means that in this life also, while in this body, if we constantly remember and perform our duties, actually we are freed from all the bondages. Whatever the work we have to do, we don't have to worry about it because Krishna will take care of it. That is guaranteed. My experience is also like that. That whatever is the duty, we just do it our 100%. And if it is good for us, it will happen. Krishna will take care of it. We don't have to worry about anything because Krishna has given a guarantee and he will take care of it. Lord Krishna says, Ananya chetah satatam yo mam smarati nityasha tashyaham sulabha partha nityayukta sayoginam. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. So, easier way to remember Krishna is the service. You understand? What is service means? There are various ways we can do seva. One is by hearing. Now currently hearing is also seva actually. Seva means service. There are 9 ways of doing bhakti. Navada bhakti it is called. 9 ways of devotional service. What is that? Hearing. Hearing about Krishna or hearing about Bhagavad Gita is one way. Second, Kirtanam. Kirtanam means once you hear, you tell others. When you hear, you tell others. When you hear, you tell others. You need chair, Isaac? You need chair? Are you comfortable?
I'm sorry.
You can take chair if you like. Please. We have half an hour more to go. So, is that okay? So, second thing is Shravanam. First is Shravanam, second is Kirtanam. Kirtanam means talking. And then Smaranam, meditating upon. So, whatever we learned today, what you can do is you tell somebody about it. Or you tell?
I always teach this to my parents.
Oh, very nice. When you go home?
I call them and they'll be like sitting.
Very nice. Very nice. Wonderful.
Let them know the benefits of knowing.
Very nice. Actually, that reinforces your memory also. So this is really nice. So they say that if you want to remember anything lifelong, then there is one trick. What is the trick? Whatever you learn, revise within 24 hours. Then after 7 days. So if you do this, then it is always there in your mind. So whatever you read today, revise in 24 hours and after 7 days. And that's it. It is permanently fixed forever. This why? You have any experience of that? How do you remember your school things? You revise it every time? No?
Because I already know.
You already know. Yeah, he knows quite a bit actually. He's a very smart guy. So Krishna says that always remember me without deviation, which means that we always remember the Krishna's teachings without deviation. So without deviation means some people sometimes they will worship Krishna and then tomorrow they will worship another Devi Devta and then third another Devi Devta, like that. Keep on fluctuating. When you move from one place to another, you never get stabilized. Is that right? Some people say, okay, I'll stay a few months in Thunder Bay, then a few months in Toronto, and a few months in this. You never got stabilized in your life, right? Some people will take up Bhakti Yoga, then after that they will take up another path of yoga. Then after that they will take up another path of yoga. They are not the jack of all, master of none. It doesn't work like that. We have to dedicate ourselves for one specialty. Like in medicine also, like we have now so many specialties. Like my specialty is different, other doctor specialties are different. And we all are, like nowadays there are very few people who want to be generalist. Everybody wants to be specialist. Why? Because specialist you get more money. Is that right? Similarly, in the path of spirituality also, you take up one path and stick to it. Whatever the path you decide. If you decide that, okay, this is the path of Bhakti Yoga, I want to take Bhakti Yoga, I will stick to that path and that's it. Nothing more deviation. If I decide, okay, I want to follow Bhagavad Gita, that's it. That is my life and soul. Nothing else. Because when you follow one thing, you get what you need. When you are diverted, you don't get anything. Is that right or wrong? Yeah. So that is called focus. So here Lord Krishna says, Ananya Chetasa Satatam. Ananya means without deviation. Chetasa means your consciousness. And Satatam means always. This is secret of success actually. What is that one line? Ananya Chetasa Satatam. If you remember this in your life will be successful actually. Anything you do in your life, if you do it constantly day in and day out, you will be the master. Like Olympic gold medalist who get the gold medal, what do they do? For 4 years, 8 hours a day, no holidays, practice, practice, practice. They become sharpshooters actually because they have practice. Right? So Lord Krishna is saying, always remember me. So how do you remember always Krishna? 24/7?
Like,
How do you remember 24/7, 365 days a year Krishna? How do you remember? Advi?
Revising.
How? How do you remember Krishna? Devotion.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna mantra. Very nice, very nice, very nice. You know, how do you remember?
Always keep him inside our mind.
Is it possible? Is it possible?
I think it's hard.
It's hard, right? So, what does Krishna say? When you drink water, what do you do? Do you drink water?
Yeah.
How many times a day? Quite a few times. So when you drink water, rasoham apsu kaunteya, the taste of water is Krishna. Do you see sunlight? Yes, I see sunlight. When you see the sunlight, you remember? Krishna says, Prabhasmi Shasi Shurya. So sun is the energy of Krishna. Do you see the plants? Yes, I remember Krishna. When I see you, I remember Krishna. When I see anything around me, because everything is Krishna. When I see the birds, when I see insects, when I see trees, so Krishna is there in the form of his energy actually, right? So wherever and whenever we see the things around us, how can we connect it with Krishna? That is how easy to remember Krishna. Is it difficult? It's quite easy actually. When you go to sleep also you can remember Krishna. When you go to sleep you can remember one of the shlokas, you can read one of the shloka and go to sleep. Then what will happen? In the night time you will see Krishna all around you. Try that one day. So Lord Krishna is saying, I am easy to obtain because of constant engagement. If you constantly remember Krishna, then you can get Krishna very easily. Then further Lord Krishna says, what happens when you get Krishna? Mahamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam shashvatam. After attaining me, my devotees never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries. The word here used is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Dukkha means sadness, miseries, right? This whole material world is full of problems, right? There are problems always, right? There is a problem, Adidevic problem, Adibhautik problem, Adhyatmic problem. Adidevic problem means, like say we have earthquake now in country, Turkey, right? 20,000 people dead. Did they invite the problem? No, it just happened like that. We had a coronavirus attack. For 2-3 years, we all were like miserable, right? Lakhs of people, thousands of people died, right? Why? Because that is the nature of this world. The problems are going to be there always, Earthquake, hurricane, tsunamis, then storms, then this virus infections, and then one country attacking another country, like Russia invading Ukraine. So how many people dead? We don't know even. So many people, right? And then, so there is another problem. Then there is a problem within the family members, husband, wife, children, this, that problem. And then sometimes you become sick, a virus attacking you, or some bugs attacking you, or cancer, heart disease, that problem. And then if nothing else, then the mental problems. People have a psychological, mental problem. Mental health is the biggest problem now in the world. Do you agree? Mental health.
Life's hard.
Huh?
Get all that stuff off here all the time. Life's hard.
There is, you see, the gap between the two miseries, we call it happiness. What is that I said? The gap between the two miseries is called happiness. Now we all feel happy because no miseries, right?
Sometimes I think too, like, oh, it's so good. We're so lucky almost to be here.
Just wait for a few more.
Yeah,
It's coming on the it's coming on the way. You see that when there is a high tide and then there is a low tide and then there is a normal and then high.
No, I get it. It's very hard. There's lots of hard miseries, but also like when you look at the trees or
Yes.
the sun,
Yes.
sun rising.
Yes.
It's like amazing.
Yeah. So as I'm saying is that those are the gaps between the fill in the blank. When there is a gap,
So
you can see the sun.
It would be all sunrise.
Yes. You are able to see the sun and the moon and the birds and everything because there is no earthquake. But as soon as there is an earthquake, you will forget about the sunrise. Is that right? As soon as there is a mental stress, your sunrise will disappear.
Yeah, true.
Is that right? It's called disease called depression. Depression is very high now actually. They say about 30% people are depressed.
Wow.
To moderate to severe degree. That's a big number. It's a huge number. So Lord Krishna is saying Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam means that in this world is called as Dukkhalayam, which means this is the storage house of all the problems here. In this world, all the problems are stored here. If you really get out of the problem, then just get out of this world. Otherwise, as long as you are in the world, what will happen? Problems are always going to chase you. When you are in the jungle, tiger is going to chase you, or lion is going to chase you one day or another. Well, you can't escape that. So Lord Krishna is saying that my devotees never return to this temporary world. When we go to Krishna Loka, then we'll never return back.
But,
What is that?
but it's like
Eternal, yes. So Lord Krishna is saying that after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this world which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So now the spiritual world description is given in Bhagavad Gita, how the higher planetary system looks like. So Lord Krishna is saying, Ha Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravrittino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are the places of miseries, wherein the repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So I'm going to explain you something here. This is a very mystical picture. Can you see this? This is going to explain you the arrangement of a universe according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, this is the Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is the understanding of the universe. Now this is one universe. Can you see this? Okay. Okay, let me use the laser pointer here so that you can understand better. Can you see the pointer now? Yeah. So this is one universe, and there are many universes like this floating. Okay. There are innumerable universes, millions and millions and billions of universes. Okay, but this is one universe. In this universe, here is the Lord Vishnu. Okay. This Lord Vishnu, his name is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. What is the name? Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Okay, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu is lying on a Sheshanaga, Ananta Shesh. Have you heard about this? Ananta Shesh? Ananta Shesh is it's like a bed or asana on which Lord Vishnu is there. Now from this Vishnu's navel comes a stem. Can you see that stem here? And on the top of the stem is Lord Brahma. Okay. So Lord Brahma is residing in a place called as Brahmaloka. Now in this stem there are 14 planetary systems. This is as per the Vedas, okay, as per the yoga principle. And this is where you are. We are in this earth. This is the middle planetary system. On the top there are 7 and the bottom there are 7. So total 14 planetary systems. Okay. So on the top, Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Svargaloka, and Bhurloka. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Then Bhurloka, which is planetary system. You know that's Gayatri mantra Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Bhur Bhuva and Swaha. What is Bhur means? Bhur means earth. Bhuva means lower and Swa means higher. You understand? So Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So these are the higher planetary system. This is the earthly planet and this is the lower planet system, which is Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. So you see, this is the middle planet, and then there are lower planetary system and the higher planetary system, right? And this is the middle here. Now here is the Brahma, and this is the one universe. In this universe, there are multiple galaxies and multiple planets. All the galaxies are in the universe. Okay, so this is one universe. From Brahma comes all the Devi Devtas like Shiva. Then here is the Durga, Saraswati, Lakshmi. All the demigods, they come from Brahma. And then Brahma creates all the living entities. All the living entities means human, animals, birds, insects, reptiles. Everybody is created by Brahmaji. You get this point? So Lord Krishna is saying that this is the arrangement here, and here everything is temporary. Everything has expiry. Okay? In this universe, even Brahma has also expiry. Brahma is not eternal. All the Devi Devtas also has expiry date. So Brahma is a position. A soul is given a position of Brahma. A soul is given a position of Durga. A soul is given a position of Lord Ganesha. A soul is given a position of Lakshmi, like that. So all these are positions given to Atma or a soul when he becomes eligible to that particular level. Okay. So now, but Lord Vishnu is eternal. Lord Vishnu always remains. He is not Atma, he is a Paramatma. Paramatma means super soul, he is the higher authority. Okay? So this is the arrangement of all the planetary system. And where are we located? Here. So either you go up or you go down. What is the problem?
The miseries.
Aha, very good. Miseries are always there. Ah, Janma Bhuna Loka. So Lord Krishna is saying that whether you go to the higher planet system or the lower planet system, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest planet. So what is the highest planet?
So,
What is the highest planet?
Brahma.
Brahmaloka, where the Lord Brahma is residing. And what is the lowest planet? Patal Loka. So what is Lord Krishna is saying? From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all other places of misery. There is always misery. Everywhere.
The gap between two miseries is called happiness, and the gap between two happiness is called misery.
No, that is the correct actually. That's correct. So you see, when I was in India, I thought that Canada is a beautiful place. I must go to Canada. But then I realized, oh my God, it's minus 40 here. So it's not as rosy as I thought, right? So always the grass on the other side is greener. You always feel like that. Huh?
I was wondering if there's more people in India because everybody, those souls are like, this is where I can learn to evolve.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's like very crowded because all the souls are like, we need to go to India.
Yes, so you see, people from the Western world, they want to go to India. People from India want to go to Western world. People from one place wants to go to another place. You know, that's always been there. Like that's how the Columbus came to America. Because he had everything, but he came to America because he wanted something more.
But our soul for evolving,
Mm-hmm.
we would have more opportunity to learn this in India
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
than in Thunder Bay.
Of course.
We're very lucky that
Of course.
you're here, Dr. Prashant.
Of course, you see, so that is what it is like. But no matter where you go, whether you go India, America, or maybe you go to higher planet system, but the problems are always not going to leave you. Right? You always have to pay income tax, whether you go to India or Canada, right? So taxes means there are two things for sure in the life. You know, one thing is you're always going to die, and you're always going to pay income tax. So, so miseries are like that. You're always going to get the miseries, whether you go to higher or lower planetary system. So, what is Lord Krishna is saying here is that he is also telling us about Brahma. So, what is the life of Brahma? So, he says, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyada Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Te Ahoratra Vidu Janaha. Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna, by human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together forms the duration of Brahma's one day, and such is the duration of Brahma's one night. So, here is the interesting fact here. Brahma lives much, much longer than we all can even imagine. You see, this current age is called Kali Yuga. What is the duration of Kali Yuga? 432,000 years. How many?
432,000
years. And how many years we have passed in Kali Yuga? 5,000 years. And how many more to remain? 427,000 years. Before Kali Yuga, what was the Yuga? Dwapar Yuga. What is the duration of Dwapar Yuga? Double the Kali Yuga. So 864,000 years. Then before Dwapar was a Yuga which is called as Treta Yuga. Treta was thrice the duration of Kali Yuga. And before the Kali Yuga, before the Treta was Sati Yuga, which was 4 times the duration of Kali Yuga. So if you add all this, that becomes 4,032,000,000 years. How many?
4 billion something.
4 billion years. That is one Yuga cycle. And Lord Krishna is saying that if you multiply that by 1,000, 4,032,000,000 times 1,000 becomes just the 12 hours of Brahma. This is again, we can't even think of it. You know, if you ask like a little insect who is going to die within few hours, that human lives for 100 years, the insect is hard to believe.
Is there anything about time? Because I've heard there's no
So Krishna talks about time in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about the five principles. One of the principles he talks about is time, and that comes in 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He'll talk about time actually. So the idea here is that Brahma's lifetime is very long. How long? Millions and billions and trillions of years. So this is one day of Brahma, 12 hours of Brahma, and such is the night of Brahma. So 4 yuga cycle times 1000 is the day, and 4 yuga times cycles times 1000 is the night. And how many years Brahma lives like that? 100 years. So that is our beyond even we can think of it. But even after that, what is the thing? He has to die. So death is there for sure, right? So Lord Krishna is saying that no matter where you go, you have to have a death. So you see, this is the Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. This is one. And then you multiply this by 1000. That is the one day of Brahma, right? So it's a very, very long life. But still, there is a death in this life, okay? So further, Lord Krishna says that at the beginning of the Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifested state. Avyakta Vyakta Sarvasha. Which means what happens? Like at the day of Brahma, everything is created. And at the night of Brahma, everything is annihilated. Again the new creation, again annihilation. Creation, annihilation, creation, annihilation happens. You know. And therefore, and thereafter when the night falls, they are merged into unmanifest again. It says bhutva bhutva praliyate. Again and again, again and again. This thing happens again and again. Creation, destruction is happening again and again and again. So this is the interesting phenomenon Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, and then Lord Krishna is further telling to Arjuna, Parastasmat bhavo anyo vyakta vyakta sanatana yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyastu na vinashyati. He's saying, yet there is another unmanifest nature. So now he is telling about the spiritual. In the material world, there is annihilation and creation again. But he says, Paraha tasmatu bhavanyo. There is unmanifested nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested. But when you go to spiritual world, there is no such thing as creation and destruction. It is eternal always. You get this point? It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So this material world has this phenomenon of creation and destruction. But in the spiritual world, there is no such thing. स्नेह अल्टर बंद करके करो तो कर ही सके तो. So in the spiritual world, there is no such thing as annihilation part of it, right? So then Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna about how one departs in this world. O best of the Varasa, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world the yogis does or does not come back. He says, according to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in the light and one in the darkness. When one passes in the light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. But then Srila Prabhupada says that although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of result derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, understanding austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. So, this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Just by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals at different orders of life. What does that mean? That for a devotee, whether he leaves the body in the daytime or night time, it doesn't matter. Because he is always remembering Krishna. So therefore, it is very important for us that we always remember Krishna. Because that is the crux of all. If you want to pass the examination, We want to go beyond this material world, because there is again and again this annihilation, destruction. We want to get out of this cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death. Right? So that is the end of the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Next time when we meet, we go to the chapter 9, which is called as most confidential knowledge, actually. So when we meet next time, that will be after I come back from India. I'll be in India from 16th, and I will be leaving from here to 14th, and then go to India, and then come back on 13th of March. So when I come back, I'll message you. Then we'll continue with last 9 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Any questions for today? You have?
No.
Yes, you have a question. Yes, go ahead.
What will come after Kali Yuga? Like again?
Again Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. After this 1000 cycle, there is annihilation. And then there is a creation after 1000 cycles more. Like that gap. There is a gap of 1000 cycles when there is nothing. Again creation, annihilation. Like this goes on forever. Like we are transmigrating from one species to another for I don't know how long. It's unlimited, right? So we have been here forever. Yes? Okay, so yes, go ahead.
Is there a time, like when we're in our moment of death and we remember the deer or Krishna or who we are in service at this life, in the next birth, what is the time that you're going to remember? That was my worry, is that, I don't want to go through 20 years without connection. How come sometimes, like, he's very knowledgeable already at this age. So why is some people conscious at 5 years old, some people at 20, some
Wonderful.
people at 70?
Shishigonitai, Shisitaram, Your question is very appropriate, that why some people like this and that. The reason being is that, you see, there's a difference between the spiritual knowledge and the material knowledge. Material knowledge is destroyed along with the body, but the spiritual knowledge comes with you in the next life. So suppose you practice spirituality, you practice bhakti for 10% in this life. Then in the next life you start with 11%. Because bhakti is eternal, it is never lasting. While in the material knowledge, like I am a doctor, in the next life I don't remember anything of medicine, I have to come back to the school. But a kid like him has blessing because he has some karma of bhakti from the previous life. That is why. So whatever you are doing now is eternal because it is spiritual. Anything spiritual is eternal, which has no expiry date. While in the material, it is the expiry date. Get it?
So it depends on how much karma. Like for me, it's like one day I just knew life was different. Very spontaneous.
Yeah, you have some good spiritual activities from previous life. That is why you are having these experiences, because you have. And now whatever you have now will come with you in the next life also. This will be carried forward always, because that is the nature of spirituality.
Unless I remember Krishna. Right?
You will remember Krishna. You see, in this life, say you chanted 5,000 times Krishna. In the next life, you will start with 5,001. Your attraction for Krishna will more. But our idea is that we want to try maximum in this life and we don't want to come back. Why do we want to come back here? I don't want to come back. Do you all want to come back? I don't know. There's no point, right? Why we want to come back again and again? So our life is that give our 100, like this life is for Krishna. There's nothing else. We do our duty, job, business, whatever we have to do, but thinking that this is all for Krishna. I do not want to take anything with me this time. We just don't want anything, right? Just why do we want to come back again? I may come back as somebody else. I might come back as Isaac probably next time. But what is the fun of it? Isaac has his own problem, right? If you want to come back as a son of a rich man, that's okay. But he does have his own problem. Everybody has the problem. It's not that everybody's. So this life is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So Krishna says that there is another world beyond this. There is no misery. So why don't we go for that? You know? And then Krishna is showing us the path. When there is a better option, I think we should go for it. What do you think? Right? When there is a better connection, there's a 3G, 4G, 5G. We all go for 5G. There's a better connection, right? Krishna is like million G probably. G is for God, right? Connecting with God. So let's connect with Krishna. And as Krishna says that Ajanma Bhuvanar Loka. There is always going to be, whether you go to Brahma Loka, whatever the Loka you want to go. You're just always going to be trapped. So why don't we remember Krishna? Krishna says, Satatam kirtayantam mam yatantam sudradvita. Whatever the state you remember, you'll get it. So just remember Krishna, you will get Krishna. Thank you everyone for your kind attention. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us about yourself a little bit? What do you do here?
I recently graduated from Patriot University.
Oh, you